As the name suggests, in the case of calculate table, it takes the first argument as a table because the calculate table function returns a table. So, and then like calculate function, you can apply n number of filters. It can be a combination of Boolean filter, table filter, or filter modification function. Okay, what is your question, Deepa? Okay, Deepa's question is, when can I use Boolean filter? When can I use table filter? So Boolean filter, you can use it for a simple, if the business logic is pretty simple, right? You can use the Boolean expression. If you have a complex multiple filters, in that kind of situation, you can use filter function. You want to aggregate the table and then you want to do some complex you want to apply some complex filter, you can use filter expression. If it is straightforward one, you can use Boolean filter. Okay, but the table filter, the filter function is helpful. Anyhow, we'll explain the filter function. That time also you'll be able to understand. Table filter is nothing but the filter function, right? So but at this moment, keep it in mind. With the table filter, you can apply a complex filter. Okay, with Boolean, you can only apply the simple filters. Any complex, you can use table filter. We know what is filter modification. All selected, all except these are the filter modification function. Okay, so now in the case of calculate table, it returns a table. For example, this is in this case the first argument, suppose a table name, comma the filter condition, Boolean filter condition. I've used it here for the sake. So here the year equal to 2022 and sum of sales. Okay, so this table, this calculate table, in this case, what will happen is it will apply the filter year equal to 2022 on this spec sales table. It takes only the year 2022 data only, and then it applies the sum of sales. Okay, and then it gives you sum of sales. Okay, so I think, yeah, this is also another example. So now we will examine whether we can use calculate function or calculate table also. I'll just go over here and then I will show you how to use a calculate table. Okay, here we don't, yeah, since it is a calculate table, you need to go to your modeling ribbon and then click on the new table. Table, not measure, okay? Because the table will return more than one column, whereas the measure will return only one value, okay? Scalar value, which is nothing but a single value. Here in this case, the table name is, for example, sales W04. And for example, country is equivalent to United States. The calculate table. Okay, here I just move this up and I go to the table view, data view. And here, if you see the calculate table, look here, this is the one got selected, right? Table measure, calculate. This is the one I created it. It is not a measure, it is a table, calculated table. So far, we have seen the calculated column, calculated measure. Now we are looking at the table also, calculate table. Sorry, that measure, yes, measure, calculated measure and calculated columns. Okay, we discussed it. So now we are discussing about the calculate table. Yeah, the table is different. Okay, so and also I related this one with calculate table. Okay, so in this case, instead of taking all the data, I just take only the United States. Like, look here, the country called United States. That's all. So there are situations, not that there are situations. Okay, most commonly, right? This issue we pose it. If you work with the main table, it consists of millions and millions of records. In that case, you wanted to have a separate table for a specific country. For example, you know very well in United States only we are going to perform a lot of or we want to populate the data from United States only in most of the cases, you would take the subset of the data on, you know very well, United States, the data volume is also very high compared to other country. You took the subset of the data, and then with this calculate table, you can play around. You know, this is kind of virtual table. Okay, it's kind of a virtual table, calculate table. So here, you know, we did not use the measure here. Okay. So calculate table returns a table. That's why we can see a table here. But in this table, based on the condition, whatever we mentioned, it shows in this case country equal to United States. So you create a table wherein you store only the United States related transactions. That's it. That is what we did. Yes. Okay. Now the question from Aishu. What she is asking is, can I use the calculate table in a measure? Yes, that is also possible. So for example, you are going to create a modeling. So in this case, you want to create a measure. Same thing, I'm going to put it here. So here, I'm going to say the total sales in United States. So inside the calculate, look here, total sales M. And calculate table equal to this one. Okay, and the next one is, okay, I'll just put it this way. Mistakenly hide the enter key. 1 second, let us format it neatly. Okay, your question is, I can use country equal to United States. Why should I use calculate table? Calculate total sales or United States. It will do that one. So why should I use a calculate table in this case? Can someone tell me? So why we need to use calculate table here? Simple common sense. What will it do here? What will it do here? Yes, you are correct, right? So you're all correct. Nisha, wait. Let's go step by step. That's what I explained. If you wanted to take a subset of the data, you can use calculate table. I don't want to work with the entire data. I have 1 billion records are there. In the case of Walmart and all, right? We have 1 billion records are there. We don't want to work all the countries all the time. There are cases I want to take this separate, I wanted to have a separate table for specific country. Let's say, my base location United States. Most of the analysis will be doing it in United States, right? Or from the performance point of view. If I work on a specific country data alone, for example, United States, you have 25 million records, and United Kingdom, you have 20 million records, and Germany, you have, another 25 million records. All I need is I want to find out the totals we made in United States. For that, if you take the subset of the table and then you want to find out, see, in the previous case, what we did, we created a separate table. The calculate table created a separate table, right? So where we mentioned country equal to United States. You create a separate table. In that table, you play around with it. Okay, total sales, if you find out what will happen in that table, it will apply. Rather than creating a separate table, better I can use a filter. In this case, what happened? The calculate table will create a subset of the data behind this virtual table. On top of that, this total sales will be applied. So it will compute the total sales. Working on a huge volume of data is a time consuming one. Instead, create a separate table, virtual table, and then you compute the total sales. Are you able to understand, Nisha? So, okay, what do you mean by reference table? Yes, we can use reference table also. So what do you mean by reference table? Tell me what do you mean by reference table? Yes, that is also possible. But in this case, one second. Yeah. See the calculate table. Yeah, we can use the filter also here. Yes, like Deepa said, instead of using calculate table, can't we use filter function, table filter function, or we can use it. Yeah, table filter function also returns the table like calculate table, but it will not modify the filter context. It will not modify the filter context. Got it? Filter function. Yes. What is that? Your question? Deepa, can you unmute and tell me? Yeah, you can unmute and tell me. Okay, or you type it in the chat window. Okay, fine. Hmm. No, no. See, the idea here is um, see, her question is, Deepa's question is, okay, if you specify United States alone, right, it has to work on the entire table. Instead, what you are doing is behind the scene, you are creating the subset of the data here. Okay. See, the other way is you can use a filter pane. I'm not talking about Deepa, filter pane. Filter pane is meant for technical people. Hmm? Yeah, so the reference table, yeah. So, okay, now the question is, what is reference table? So, reference table, so you can create in the Power Query editor itself, right? You can create a Power Query editor itself, you can do it. So, it is up to you, okay? You can create it there itself or you can use it here. But it is dynamic. See, here you don't have to have a separate table, right? Separate table which will consume memory. But once your calculation is done, it will be cleared up. Right? That is the advantage of the calculate table here. And also with calculate table, you can modify the filter context, isn't it? Do you agree with me or not? Nisha and Deepa. The same thing here. If I go here, see if I go here, in this case, I have used sales in United Kingdom. Instead, I'm going to use my calculate measure, which I demonstrated a while back, just a while back, right? So wherein I have used the calculate table, like inside the calculate function. So there in the calculate table, I've used the Boolean filter, country equal to United States. In that, or United Kingdom, you can specify it. In that case, on the fly, it build a reference table or virtual table behind the scene, and then it applies the total sales total on the sales column. Okay. But here it will the advantage of the calculate table is you can modify the filter context. Okay, it will override the filter comes from your country table, country slicer. If you select some other country, still it will show us only the United Kingdom. Okay. That is what it tells us. Next one is the filter function. Like calculate table function, the filter function also. So what is the difference between the calculate and calculate table? In the interview, they'll ask you calculate function. You can use only the scalar value, right? You can return only a scalar value. Just give me a second. I'm getting call from office. Hello. Hello. Yeah, 1 second. The table function. The calculate table function returns a table itself, whereas the calculate function returns a scalar value. What do you mean by scalar? Is single value. Okay, single is scalar, single value. Okay, but if you wanted to return a table, so then you can use calculate table. The advantage of calculate function is it can help you to add a new filter, modify the existing filter context. Okay, so in that kind of situation, the calculate is very much helpful. And using calculate table also, you can modify the filter context. And we have something called reference table. In the case of reference table, it is kind of a static table. Okay, you cannot, you cannot add additional records, something like that. Okay, so in that kind of situation, it is not dynamic, right? The calculate table, what you can do is you can use it as part of the calculate function also. In that case, the calculate table behind the scene, it creates a virtual table on top of the virtual table. You can it can perform it will apply the expression which you use it in your calculate function. For example, the sum of sales, that sum function will get applied on the filtered table. For example, in our example, United Kingdom. So take only the United Kingdom data set. In that data set, you compute the total sales. That is what you can do it with calculate table. Yeah, you can also use a reference table, but the reference table is kind of a static table. So as and when any new data comes, you need to re-import it. Okay. So calculate returns a scalar, calculate table returns a table. Next one is the filter function. So,